Good afternoon again, all. This is your girl, Casey McDaniel, coming to you again this afternoon. Now, I told you that I watched this video the other day on this raid that took place at Green Valley Farms in Omaha, Nebraska, that had people that are undocumented working in this meat plant, okay? This food plant. Anyway, I told you I was going to come back with you with the video. So I finally was able to find it. The name of the meat plant and the food plant is called Green Valley Farms. So I'm getting ready to show you the video. As remember, I was talking about like these kind of jobs will be great jobs for our um, to rehabilitate our criminals. Okay, people that paid their dues to society, they did their time, they got to get back into society, they need jobs, they need to work, they need to become, on the books, okay? They got to pay back taxes, do whatever, make a livable salary, or just able to get back working. They paid for whatever crimes they might have committed. We give one thing about being an American, and one thing about us is that well, I don't know about all states, but I know they are a place will give you another chance, depending on the crimes that you have committed. You see, depending on some of the crimes you have committed um, in society, and you want to get back into working, you want to get back into your life, you want to take care of your families or whatever, and pay your dues. You already paid your time in jail, but now it's time to pay for your crime, coming back and starting all over again. So these will be good jobs to give back to our criminals, to our, rehabilitate our criminals. Okay, so anyway, these undocumented illegals, immigrants. Now, there's a difference between being an immigrant and being an illegal immigrant. See, that's where people need to be educated about. Is a difference. People talk about, well, immigrants built the United States. Yes, you can say that, but I laughed because somebody had to correct me about how we got over here. We weren't immigrants, we were imported. Okay, that's a funny one. That's so true. We weren't immigrants, we were imported. Okay, so black people, just so you'll know, some of you that came over here that are descendants of slaves or whatever like that, you were imported. You're not an immigrant. You were imported. And you had to work for free, for your freedom. You had to work for free under harsh treatment and the whole nine. So you were criminals probably back your ancestry back in you go in Africa when, or you was probably just captured in the Africans against each other's tribes and stuff and sold off as slaves. As you go and do your history, we gotta do American history back in school, and Black history as well has to be taught again. But I'm not an immigrant. I'm a legal citizen of the United States of America, and it is what it is. But anyways, y'all, just wanted to just school some people on some things. So just want to school some people on some things. And yes, it was harsh. It was cruel. It was mean of the treatment that we received from, whatever we got from being sold over here as import. Okay? As import. And slaves. As slaves. But we all free in Christ and slaves under Christ. We is either or. Either you're going to be free in Christ or you want to be a slave under Christ. And being a slave under Christ is actually listening to whatever your bosses, your master, whoever tells you, like your president of the United States is saying right now, because he is the chief and commander over this country, over our military here to keep this land of ours protected and safe, and also over whatever comes in and whatever goes out as the federal government and over all. Okay, and I'm not going to fight against that when him and Biden had the election under the Biden and Harris administration. Trump won the election. The people have spoken. Whether you voted for him or not, he won the election. Okay? He was the elected president of the United States. Regardless what was behind him, he was the elected president of the United States of America. And there was a peaceful, supposed to be, transition. And some people just don't want it to rest. It has been unrest. People have been rioting, looting, and committing crimes against the government, writing it, these people, like, because he said he was going to do what he was going to do and find out who you are. He had, of course, Elon Musk, who was working under the Department of Government Efficiency, checking out everybody's social security and who's who in the United States of this beautiful America. America, America, God shed his grace on thee. Okay? So, whether you want to learn the truth or not, that's the truth of the history of America. Welcome to America. And it's not like, and I kind of keep saying it over and over. And I had people attack me on Facebook, acquaintances or people I knew growing up, whatever. Oh, you a Trump supporter? It's because of you things got bad. And I was like, oh, really? Attacked me. But I like, I was upset about it, of course, but I had to cool down and I had to come back and let them know this is not the time for it, because they did it they tried to catch me off guard when I was posting pictures of my sister's wedding or whatever like that. And I guess they got a little jealous, and this was the time for them to try to do one of those little haters attacks, to attack me about Trump. And I'm like saying he's our president. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to be the one having nervous breakdowns and getting sickness going on through your body and everything. I'm just going through it. I'm just going to deal with it. And he's somebody that I was in favor of because of the immigration, because of the illegals in this country and everything else like that, and because of the fact that he wanted to fix our educational, Department of Education. I was for all of that, because me being an early educator and dealing with the schools, it's disgusting. They don't even give children math, science, arithmetic, whatever. They not learning anything but being crazy, but being crazy. So I'm like this. I was all for it, for what he stood for the American people, to make America great again. I'm not no MAGA, drive hard, whatever like that. You don't know, because I don't, some things I find injustice, and some things I know how to pick my battles, put it that way. When I see something that is right, I'm going to speak on it. If I see something that's wrong, I'm going to speak on it, but I'm going to have to learn how to choose my battle. Just like you got to choose your battle. I had no reason to be out there to protest against the government. I'm sorry. I could not go out there and fight against what I feel I need protection over. I don't. I'm just sorry. I could not bite the hand that feeds it. I can't do that. This is you got to know. Come on. I mean, I'm not gonna let nobody use me in they game, in they war. Because when Biden left office, him and Trump had to have a peaceful transition. And when they said a peaceful transition, I took it for what it is, a peaceful transition. There's no reason for anybody, whether you agreed with the Republican, the conservative, or you wanted to be a Republican. I'm not even a Republican, okay? I'm not even a Republican. But I stood for what he was about, okay? His policy. I stood for his policy. I stood for what he believed in doing for this country and for the American people being first. I stood for it. Regardless to his felons and whatever they want to call felons, in some way or the other, we all have been criminals in some type of way. We all broke the law in some kind of way. The Lord and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, some of the things that are committing the commandments, we broke those commandments. In some kind of way, we all broke them commandments. But whatever Trump did in his last term, he's getting it right in his second term. He had enough time in those 4 years to fix the brokenness of our system and what has been going on. And that's all I'm saying. Everybody deserves another chance. And Trump, he made some bad mistakes maybe he have done in his first term. I really didn't pay attention to that either. He was the president of the United States of America, and I had to go and do what was there for us. I didn't go against him. I didn't go for him. I didn't go against him. I just stayed neutral. Okay? I stayed out of it. I didn't vote for him the first term. No, I did not. Okay? Because I didn't know much about what his policies were. I wasn't going to listen to what everybody else said. I had to hear it for myself. I had to see it for myself. Regardless of how my family members might have felt about me, the way I felt about Trump, or whatever at the time, he didn't bother me at the time. I was like, oh, well, I was just like in, I don't know where I was. I don't know what kind of zone I was in back then. Okay. But this time I paid very close attention because after I noticed after the COVID, during the COVID and all the other weird stuff started happening, I was like, wait a minute, what kind of, is this America? You know, is this America? Is anybody here got any common sense anymore? Is anybody make any sense anymore? I was like, what happened? We had to wear masks, and then people were attacking me, even in the church. Even when I went to church to worship and everything else in my Sunday worship and all that other stuff, I was attacked by crazy lunatic lefties or whatever, liberals or whatever, people that hated Trump, people that hated the time when, not even the people that hated Trump, but just during the COVID season, it was just disgusting of all the panic that was going on with people. They called it the pandemic. People was panicking about this virus that was breaking out and people were getting and dying from, and nobody, they try to say it came from China, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay. And it was just like so crazy of social distancing yourself from people and people being having to be quarantined and all of that stuff was crazy. And I just was like, wait a minute, it was some things going on before, and I did some history on what was taking place during some wartime, and another kind of pandemic broke out, diseases that were breaking out that people were catching, even when people were coming over here as immigrants and everything, and they had what was it, yellow fever and all kind of other diseases that hit people's body, and it was getting spread, the virus was spreading around, and da 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 da. That's why a lot of stuff people don't take into consideration about health and safety. And that's some of the things we have to learn as educators as well. We have to learn things of health and safety, how to make sure we keep the children healthy safety practices, washing their hands after they toilet, and all the stuff you have to do after you do a diaper or after you make sure you clean somebody from having an accident, and children take naps or whatever. It's health and safety rules that other children things should not be, children should not be touching each other's blankets, sheets, whatever. It is a whole lot of stuff that I learned even in the early care profession that I'm in the early education profession that I'm in. It's a whole lot of stuff you got to know. It's the same thing when people come in from other places in the country. You have to learn about some of the things they might be bringing, diseases and stuff like that from where they come from. And here, these people working in a food plant, and I talked about that in the last video. You don't know what kind of germs and what kind of viruses and things they touching your food with in these food plants. But anyway, let's get into the video. And I don't want to go too far with y'all, but we're going to go into the video, okay? So here we go.
We are in Omaha, Nebraska. We are with federal agencies as they go in, and they're actually doing a targeted enforcement operation here at Glen Valley Foods, where several individuals are there working illegally. There are about 70 officers and agents on scene right now. They're about to go in to this facility right now, and we are the only network on scene.
And look at the timestamp. Look at the timestamp of this video. This was done on just a couple of days ago, June the 10th. June 10th. And it's important to be educated about this stuff. Before you go out there, you're going to have a protest about our laws here or about our government here or what President Trump is doing. Be educated about what's going on, okay? Do your research. Don't jump on the bandwagon with something. Don't let nobody use your brain as the devil playground, okay? So let's go.
¿Aquí puede grabar? Sí, o sea, ¿por qué usted puede grabar y no se puede grabar? Okay, make sure you escort him all the way out to the vehicle. All right.
Yeah, this, I think there's like, oh, yeah, there's like a
We're not starting bathroom break. Wait just a minute.
picture. No nice.
Can you say something? Oh, you don't have the earphone.
We're gonna take him to that sound room. Yeah, just a second, let me get some information and we'll walk you through your shoes, okay? Let's just, use this room right here. Clutter. Right here?
Look coming in.
Now look at this. Do you see these people coming in here not identifying who they are and they just kidnapping people? The Homeland Security Agency. Come on. These people are out here telling you any kind of crap, getting playing on your emotions. Don't listen to this. Do your research, y'all. Here's the video. Here's some proof. They showing the public about your safety.
Get down. Hey.
Look how nicely she's helping this woman from hiding behind these food packages and in these little holes or wherever they hiding them at. Now let's go on.
Look at the corner of the top. Yeah. Señora. Progresista, ven aquí ahora. Policía. Now. Vámonos. Come back, come back. Venga aquí. Ven aquí, señor. Oh, señora. All the way up from the top. Yeah. On top.
They're doing fine. Okay, yeah, we have fine. Ask what they, if they felt me touching their hands. Definitely feels good.
Embarazada.
Puedes apretarle las manos a él.
To me, I look more at this like they are really saving these people's lives. We don't know how these people got here. They could have been human trafficked. You know, they got them on some illegal, doing something illegal from where they come from, and people are sending them here to work under these kind of cruel conditions. She's feeling her hands because her hands could have been freezing. They in a freezer. They are hiding in a freezer.
I gotta sneak by, boss. I'm sorry.
This is sad, y'all. Happy Father's Day to these people for putting their life on the line for these people.
To Navajo. This way. See you today. Hey, Justin, where am I taking him? She's working under? She doesn't want to talk. She says she's not where we have to do it all at the station.
Uno en Guadalupe.
We have to take them out handcuffs, right? Since they're illegal.
Yeah. ¿Cuáles? ¿Los tres o solo uno? El 19 en la ciudad. El de 16. Entonces, ya ven que nada más dos son ciudadanos. Ok. Ajá, ¿cuál es el ticket? La niña en la ciudad. So I guess the 6-year-old. ¿De dónde nació la de conmigo? She was born in Mexico.
Hi, Audra. Yes, some of us can be indigenous people. That is true. That is also true. That's why we have to go back and do some American history and find out where your identity is and who you are. Now, like I said, some of us came here imported as slaves, and some of us were already here as free settlers, that came to the United States before we, became the United States. And as they settled in certain places of the land and they came over here. So you can be right in your history. You have every right to do your history. That's why American history need to be taught in school. Because people are lost out here. People are just so ignorant and so lost out here. They so lost. They came here, imported, and these people, the way they handling people now from sending them over here to the United States, that came not because they came through the immigration or migrants that came here because they were refugees. Now, there were some refugees that came because they were being treated poorly as political leaders and everything, just threw them out of the country because they were fighting against the government. And they threw them out of the country and they got caught up in the, refugee camps, right? And then and they was checked out and everything, and they became, whatever, legally citizens or whatever here, got their green cards or whatever. And then you had the ones who came here illegally and they might have been smuggled over here, like human trafficking, to work as slave, workers under these poor companies that imported these people over here, just like how we were imported. They came over here, they were snatched out of their country and everything, trafficked out of their country, and came to America, and they smuggled them into the United States of America. This is what I'm getting from this video.
Yes.
More, or is that it?
Make us a couple more.
See, Glen Valley Foods, and this is in Omaha, Nebraska. If I see anything with Glen Valley on it, I will not be buying it.
All right, passing. We already took pictures there. Okay, pass it.
This is so sad.
Coming on board.
And they probably gonna help these people. You know what I'm saying? Not everything you looking at is to harm these poor illegals, poor people that's coming over here to the United States. Some of it is to help them. Maybe even help them how they can come into the country and get legal help, legal assistance, a legal attorney, immigrant attorney to help them out. Those who can't really speak English very well, give them some kind of training, educational training and skills that they can work in places and get fair treatment. This is not good treatment to your employees. Hiding them in the freezer, paying them probably nothing, hardly nothing to live on.
One second.
And there's the Drug Enforcement Agency in there and everything. Homeland Security. I forgot what ERO stands for. I forgot the acronym for that. If anybody know, please put it. If anybody know what ERO stands for, please put it in the chat. Oh yeah, they cracking down on them. See, this is what President Trump is trying to tell you about the Biden and Harris administration. What they were doing, they were smuggling, and that was a wicked government that we had before. Look at what's going on. Everything you see coming out of these people right now and the rage that they're in, this is all because of that government. And they can't reason with you because they don't know. They uneducated. They don't know. They scared, so they acting up. They burning down places. They looting. They doing all of these things because some of them are working, and they government made some deal with the government over here at the time to bring these people over here and for these people to remain in power. And that's why I'm looking at Gruesome. I keep calling him Gruesome, but he's kind of probably wrapped up the corrupt government over there, the corrupt Democrats. Maybe some Republicans too, but mostly Democrats, because they were the government they were the Democrats that had the seat. Okay, they ran the office. So that was their government. This was all done under their administration. It's all, and so now that Trump came into office, is now like his work to do. The mess they, and you hear Trump saying it all the time. Crooked Joe, Crooked Joe. You know what I'm saying? When did y'all realize about his? They didn't even let you know about his cognitive dissonance. When did he get sick like this? When all of a sudden he didn't have his mind functioning well, and then all of a sudden they all were just doing something. They all had something underhanded doing, and Trump just blew. That's why they were trying to take Trump out and the whole nine. And they try to do everything they can to block him, to not use National Guards, do this and do that. And they having these riots to just bring distraction to you. So you don't know about these things. So it's important, you as an American citizen here and everything, they're giving you all this public information to educate the community, to get people out here to see this stuff. This ain't about being black in America. Who was this and who was that? You know what I'm saying? It's all about what's important to your community and what's important for your safety and everything else, to be educated about the government and what's taking place right now, so you don't get yourself caught up in nonsense. These people don't seem like they trying to harm these people in no kind of way. They are looking like they trying to save them and help them, in my eyes, and get them out of whatever they was in. Hide it in a freezer. And let's go on with the video.
There's 9 or 10. Jeez, I lost it. Hey, you want an email here? Huh? Email? I think so. Hold on. If that's 9, we'll just take her.
This is so sad. All these women.
Let's take her. You're missing a seat in this van. I thought we had more room. Hey, Caitlin, she's injured. We'll take her
Okay. And why they gotta handcuff them is because whenever you do something like this, whether they are showing any signs of threat or violence or whatever, you still gotta, zig tie them so that they won't injure, try to do anything like pull an officer's gun or whatever. They get scared and do some stupidness like that. So it's good to try to keep them safe.
Yep, I got it. ¿Dónde nació?
En México.
¿Tienes documentos de inmigración?
Sí, pero está en mi casa.
¿Tienes niños?
No.
Gracias.
Because see how they was fighting. They say, oh, they are only going after criminals. They only going after the poor working people. These people are at their jobs. See, they kind of play that BS on you, okay? That's a bunch of BS, devil lies, okay? They going after these people because these are the people that are being the victims. These are the victims of these cruel, evil, terrorist people act, okay? These are the victims. These people don't speak no English. They probably poor. They uneducated. And this is what they round them up to do. Smuggle them into the United States of America, having them work and paying the cartels for their families. And they're using their families as collateral. This is why these people are out here. They don't want to go back. They had to leave their family time because the cartels are running this kind of business. You see, the drug enforcement agencies are out there as well, because whenever you see something illegal going on in there, there's some more underhanded, dirty stuff, underworld stuff going on too. Drugs, sex trafficking, human trafficking, all of that. They wicked over there too in
In the state of
Haiti.
Nebraska, we're obviously here in southern Omaha, where there was a targeted enforcement operation. I don't know if you call it a raid or not, but I'm going to go with targeted enforcement operation.
Correct. We don't use the term raid. Raid is a military term. We typically work with the United States Attorney and other prosecutors to go ahead and conduct judicial operations backed by a judicial warrant.
So was that what happened here today? Was a warrant executed? Walk me through the process here, Elric, of what happened.
So we did execute a civil search warrant here at this location for personnel from Glen Valley Foods that were using fake IDs, fraudulent IDs, or some type of combination of IDs that weren't real.
And now, were they not real, or were they potentially other individuals' identities? So they were real, but they just weren't theirs.
Correct. Right now, it seems that there was a mixture of those, but we'll know more as the investigation progresses.
And how many people did we have that were flagged that were potentially using these fraudulent documents?
Approximately 107.
107. And how many did you guys actually apprehend today?
It is still ongoing, but we're up there. We're in the 100 right now.
In the hundreds.
Yes.
So would you say this is the biggest workplace enforcement operation that HSI has seen, that the DHS community has seen since Trump took office?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
in the state of Nebraska.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
in the state of
Thank you. I'm
Nebraska.
sorry.
Do your
Okay, sorry.
point. Yep.
Sorry.
So would you say this is the biggest enforcement operation that DHS has been a part of since Trump was?
Yes, for the state of Nebraska.
And what does it mean to you to be leading the...
Okay, they are workers, but the thing is that they are using someone else's identity for the job. It's not their own identity. This is somebody else's identity that they're using. That's why they had the fingerprint them and everything else. He says as things progress, this is under jurisdiction. This is not under anything. They working with the government under jurisdiction. Then you got some agencies that are out there that may not be the real agencies of Homeland Security and other, so-called law enforcers that might be doing something differently, that's kidnapping them and taking them and shipping them somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? As they smuggle them through out of the United States and probably over to other countries. This is what they're doing. So that's how you got to know the difference between being, illegal and being immigrant here, like through the process. Like there's a lot of identity theft that's going on, like people from all these places. It's just like how you smuggle in drugs, you smuggle in humans as labor workers. You know what I'm saying? And they have to work these jobs or whatever like this. And the cartels are doing this with fentanyl, whatever, but as they smuggling humans to go work in these fuel plants and all kind of other places. What's up from Brooklyn, New York? I'm good. Yeah, so I'm just saying, you just gotta, make it make sense. Like these are legal law enforcers, legal agencies that's out there to get the lives of these people. This is the drug and the drug oh God, how could you say the drug enforcers agencies, and then you have Homeland Security, ICE, which is another name for their acronym for ICE or whatever, for the Immigration Crime Unit or whatever agencies. So you gotta just like find out all the acronyms of all these agencies. They going in the workplaces. These are people that are breaking the law, smuggling, human trafficking, I would say, in sort of kind of way. They working in under false identification, but they probably part of the cartel in some kind of way. But these people are going to find out who these people are and try to connect these people back to wherever homeland. They may even keep them here for a while under the some kind of law protection act or whatever they got for them, for illegal immigrants who's being smuggled over here, to get them some help to become citizens of the United States, to protect them, because if they go back, they might try to do something harm to them and maybe try to find ways to even help their families or whatever, and they can be with their families.
charge kind of in the state of Nebraska, and having this in your own backyard and having hundreds, over 100 people who are working for a gentleman who apparently did everything by the book.
Right, he is a victim at the end of the day, and together with our state, federal, and local partners, we've been able to make a difference, work with that company, teach them how to do this process better, safer. We will be here to conduct follow-on training to make sure they follow it and know what to look for in the future with fake IDs or real IDs that are stolen identities.
So you are going to have some kind of follow-up conversation information
Absolutely.
shared with Glen Valley Foods in order to get them on the right path. He did think he was on the right path,
Correct.
It sounds like, but he didn't even ask me, what do I do? I thought I did everything right. What could he have done anything? I know you're not necessarily the legal analyst or anything, but could he have done anything else? He did E-Verify according to him.
Well, as I reminded him today, when there's any doubt, reach out to your local Department of Homeland Security contacts, and that's what I promised him. This is not a one-time thing. This is an ongoing process that will continue from here on out, and I will be back in several weeks to confirm that he's okay and he got everything he received from the department.
These individuals, are they living here? Are they temporary? Right? Like, what is their... Is it a mix of people? Have they been here for a long time? Are these people that just crossed the border a year ago? Do you know?
It seems to be a mix of people, but I don't know right now as the investigation is ongoing. I'll provide information later.
Awesome. Okay. And Daniel, anything for Ellen?
Well, any specific, like, I mean, there were that specific that was up there. What was the challenge of this?
Oh, the challenge of this operation and these apprehensions. Obviously, we had freezers we were dealing with. We had rafters. We had people literally in the walls hiding. Can you kind of explain some of those challenges to us?
With any search warrant, the biggest concern is safety. And with a location of this size, the best plan for that is preparation and an overwhelming number of support from our federal, state, and local partners, as you saw today. With this location, there was plenty of places for folks to hide, so that slowed down our operation. But as of right now, I can report there's been no safety issues and everything's proceeding as planned.
Yeah, we did see EMT show up and respond and help these individuals. Tell me what that feels like in the human sense, where yes, you have to conduct an operation. You have law and order you have to abide by, but there's still a very human factor. And I saw that on display today. Talk a little bit about that and the priority there.
So everyone here is still a human. We still have to take care of them. There were folks hiding in the freezers that could have been hurt through hypothermia or different temperature challenges. So at the end of the day, everybody has to get taken care of, whether you're criminal, victim, or a witness.
We saw that on display, so thank you, sir, for
Yes, ma'am.
for being human and for doing your due diligence there.
One more
Anything
time,
else?
your name, your title, please,
Elric Serdan, and I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations in Nebraska.
and first and last spell again, please.
ELHRICK and CERDAN.
Perfect.
News Nation.
Very pleased to meet you, ma'am.
What is your name, sir?
Gary Romer.
Gary Rohr. It's very,
Right.
very nice to meet you. I'm sorry for the circumstances. That's my card. I work with News Nation. This is my photographer, Daniel.
I see.
Obviously, today has been kind of a...
You're not with Homeland then?
I am not. I'm press.
Yeah,
I'm
I
with
see
News
that.
Nation, so we're journalists here.
What's that mean?
It's a wonderful network that tries to stay as neutral as possible. I've been covering the southern border for 4 years, so the immigration issue is one that
Is
I'm...
this a national company then?
It is. It is a cable news network that we work for, and we try our very best to just be as neutral and honest about the problems that we see.
I
So
see.
that's why we're here, is it's kind of full circle, right? I've been watching people cross the border for 4 years, and now we're seeing people here illegally being arrested. Obviously, a lot of these individuals, you were under kind of the impression, from what I understand, they had documentation to work for you, and you thought they were working legally. Is
Well,
that
why
correct?
would we not? We E-Verify. So what are we supposed to do? Can you tell me? I'd like to know.
I mean, do they just provide their documents like they would any person coming into work for you, right? And then you do the normal situation and nothing, no red flags, no nothing. They were just normal people, and then all of a sudden you find out
Precisely.
they're using American citizens'
Precisely.
identities.
Right.
How did it feel when you learned that they were using other people's
I
identities?
could not believe it. I was...
Well, you know what? Kind of, I want to believe this man because he may have been a little ignorant about what's going on in the case. But then again, I can't believe him because if you notice, it was too many of them to be there that you did not notify to find out if they were legal citizens of the United States, if this ID was legit, whatever. I just don't understand because you notice that it was a lot of look like immigrants, illegal immigrants, because he had only a certain group of people. Like, read the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see only people applying for this job coming in and they working for you in this food plant and they only Mexican. You don't see it's not diverse or anything. You don't see there is black people working there. You don't see there's white people working there. You don't see a mixture of all people from the same class of people, but different background, different ethnicity or a different race or anything. I don't, when you see a place like that, there's some suspicious activity going on. When you see just only you hiring just people that are just Asian, or if it's all just Asians working there, something ain't sitting right. Just like I said about some places that I don't want to call them out here, but where I'm at, I only see Mexicans working there. When I see only just Mexicans working there, I feel a little bit suspicious about that. I don't see a black cashier. I don't see a white cashier. I don't see people from all different Indian cashier or whatever. I don't see no diversity there. Something is not sitting right when you only just see a face that all look the same, from the same ethnicity, the same background, the same language, whatever. Something ain't right. That's why it's so important that there's no kind of equal opportunity. And when they say equal opportunity, I look at that law as it being a place where I can see a rainbow of colors. You understand what I'm saying? Of people working in that workplace. And if I don't see that, something ain't right. There's some discrimination going on. And there's some illegal discrimination going on. That these people are not getting paid very well. And they not legally here, because if they were legally here, they wouldn't stay working in a place like that and only making a certain amount of money, and they not fighting for they employee rights or anything. When you go into an employee place and you go in the break room, they always got that posted up, that equal opportunity posted up, labor laws and everything else posted up in the place. If I don't see that, there's something going on. Okay? It's something there to protect your rights in the workplace, and they supposed to keep that there about your labor laws. And if you feel you being discriminated against or whatever, you can call and have that place. And somebody called on them. These people just didn't pop up on Valley Foods, whatever, because somebody might have applied for a job and they were not given the job, and they seen all those Mexicans or whatever working there, and they had to make that call. But people go anonymously,
Found it.
Yeah.
These are good, hard-working people.
Yeah, because they working for
They
slave
really,
wages or
truly
probably
are.
working for
And they're
nothing
part
at
of
all.
our family.
So what,
They get free pop, they get free ice cream,
Free
they
ice-
get free
what is that gonna
donuts
do?
every Friday, they get pizza.
They get
We
pizza,
love them.
okay.
They're great people. It makes me so sad. They have families.
does it make you sad that they committed a crime, or does it make you sad they're being removed?
It makes me sad that I don't understand why in the hell they would use false ID when they can, I think,
You
get
know
a
that
visa.
ID was false.
Now, maybe if they have a criminal background, they can't get a visa, but I don't know that. And I just assumed that they were all good people. Had no reason to think not.
So where do you go from here, Gary? What's
Well,
next for
I
you?
understand there's a program. We can work with Homeland Security and we can get visas from them along with.
About that house thing you said, Audra, you are so right. Because let me tell you something. I noticed last summer in all that heat as I was going to work, I saw all these construction workers that were working, and they all were Mexican. I didn't see no black people up there on that roof. I didn't see no Italians or no Irish or no other kind of construction workers up on that roof working in that hot sun in certain weather conditions. It was nothing but these Mexicans, and it was like 90 degrees outside, almost 100 degrees. And I was like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. And I was like, this ain't right. These people are working under this. We couldn't even take the kids outside because I was working, of course, in a child, early learning center as an early learning educator. And I was like, wait a minute, we couldn't take the kids outside. Once the temperature was a certain hot, they even had water play. We couldn't even take them outside in that heat. Anything that was hitting like 90 degrees, it was too hot, and we couldn't take the kids outside. How these people were working in that, they could have had been under. It was just so bad. And then I was saying it to this black man that was standing there. He said, "Yeah, they come here, they giving them all out jobs and everything." And that's something hit me when you see employers like that. When you see some in place like that, you know something ain't right. Even in the Chinese food restaurant. Now, when I went down in the South and everything, I did see some Chinese food restaurants that I did see some black people work there as cashiers, because they in a black neighborhood and you don't see no black cashier there. Just like I say in these nail salons. You go to a nail salon, there's a lot of black women out here, black or whatever, that know how, nail technicians that know how to do some nails. And even in the hair stores, you go in some of these hair stores, they don't do this. They don't wear weaves and like we do, and hair braiding and everything, but you don't see nobody. But now I see it. But before, a long time ago, you didn't see no black people working in no hair stores and these beauty stores and beauty shops. Now I do see some working in there. They closed down that whole nail salon because they only had Koreans working in there and they own people. When you see something like that, you know there's some suspicious activity, some illegal stuff going on.
A list of employees that we can interview, and the ones that we want, we give them a visa, and it's squeaky clean. Because Homeland signs off on it, from what I understand. And I didn't know that until now. And isn't that kind of sad?
Like, you think that should be more of an open conversation, or a public thing, that you can have that access?
That would have eliminated today.
Didn't Trump just say that? Trump said these Chinese, Audra, been ripping us off for years. And remember when he said the black jobs, and the black people got all offended? Oh, what do you mean by the black jobs? He's saying that these people are discriminating against you, and you have every right to work in their businesses just as much as anybody else. The black jobs, they discriminate against you. And you got just as much good skills as anybody else. He says no more of this DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusive, because it's a bunch of lies. Because doggone well, half of these places that call about they discriminate against employees. You're going to make it clear to them that we want the best workers here. If you got the skill, you got the training and the education, you can get hired. Equal opportunity. But you got to come with the right skill and the training and the education. There's no more these using these acronyms and these lies and everything that employees are putting out there. DEI has never really benefited black people. Really, it hasn't. If you got the training, the education, and the skill and you the right person, you're going to get through that door. And you're going to get paid for what you're worth in your market and in your skill. But anyway, let's go on with this video.
If you had known that there was a route you could have taken to get workers who can actually apply for a visa or qualify.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Exactly right.
So is your frustration more with the individuals or more with the federal government right now doing what they're doing?
I think the federal government. Because why didn't we know about this program?
Okay.
Can you tell me?
So it's more the withholding of, like, hey, you have access to all these individuals that want jobs, but you didn't even know that, and instead
Precisely.
You ended up with individuals using false identities.
Precisely.
Okay.
He's lying.
So why that's terrible. Why weren't we notified?
Well, maybe this story will allow that to be a little bit more of an open
Why
dialogue,
I don't see them taking out any black illegals or black workers that are there that may not be there legally or working with fake ID, or they could be a black Haitian or they all are Mexican or from Guatemala or El Salvador or whatever. I don't know, some illegal, that's working there. Come on. You mean to tell me you got that many of them working in your food plant, but you can't identify whether they illegal or not illegal? You thought everything was checked out. He's lying. And that's what the man said. He will be back, and there's going to be a follow-up on this. And I hope that whoever this channel is, I'm going to go to this channel. I might subscribe just so I can see if they had any follow-up.
Individuals will learn from what you went through, because you're not the only one. You can't be the only one, right? That's the other thing. Your business cannot be the only one going through
I'm
this.
told this morning that we have been the only company that E-verifies, according to one of the agents.
Nope, they got Tyson's Food too. Tyson Food Plant has also been, I don't want to use raid, but there has been an investigation on them as well. Now when you see when all these recalls are coming on you, and they said there's a recall on this and a recall on that, the government, the Food and Drug Administration, whatever, they had a recall because we don't know these people packaging your food, were they in healthy condition, is this food healthy, if they have been found any kind of bacteria on the food or something like that, that they serve into the public, that they distribute into the public. So they do recalls. So you always got to look out for the Food and Drug Administration. That also work with everything is governed. You understand what I'm saying? And just like the the Amish people out here in Pennsylvania, when Trump came over there, the farmers, and they got the farmers markets and all of this stuff sold out here where I'm at in Pennsylvania, whatever. And those people got to get checked out because you don't know what could be wrong with the food too on their farms. And how they distribute in certain things. They want to hide and keep their business among themselves outside in their thing. But Trump was able to break his way in. The Amish never got involved with the election. They like to stay in their own little community. But now, Trump, this year for the election, he was able to get them opened out here. They get them to start being a part of, outside with us and everything, up with certain things that are now more modern. Because we don't know you eating from these, even though the Amish now, I've been to their farms and their foods and stuff is really great. But still in all, we don't know what kind of sicknesses might be going on over there in this Amish community because they don't do too much with the outside people. They more in their own little community, locked in their own little Amish little religious way. They very religious people, whatever, but it's kind of like ignorant in a way. So, living in the dark ages, but still in all, they've been held in farms and foods and stuff like that. And even when you go in to buy food from them, you got to check these products out. Make sure these food products that you are buying are in they are in all goods. Okay.
He said his experience has been the employers are part of the problem.
That's what we were under the impression of too when we first got
E-verify.
here. Yeah, and then we learned that you did do your due diligence.
Yes, and then we found out that doesn't make any difference if you E-verify or not.
Now, because you took all of the processes and all of the right steps, are you facing any backlash, any penalties, anything like that, or are you're obviously working with the federal government?
Well, the penalty we might be facing is not being able to hire people. What do you think these kids are going to do? When this hits the media, they're going to be scared to death.
It already hit the media, buddy.
Legit or not, I think.
Well, maybe they won't be. Maybe if they're legitimate, maybe we can pray for that. But
maybe
I understand your concern.
Maybe means we don't know. And we have customers that are counting on us.
It's going to hurt their business.
Product out to them.
So how do you do it, Gary? I mean, we're looking at around 100 people, right?
Well, that's why we're concerned.
Because you have 600 employees, give or take. Is that
no?
about
We
right?
don't have that many.
How many?
We got about 150 all total, I think.
And so about 100 of them are
processing,
potentially not working here legally?
97, I guess.
Okay, so there's
that's a
about
good percentage.
That's a majority.
Well,
wow, the lead attorney is talking about this right now on his channel.
Product, right? They're not salespeople. They make the product, and if we don't have product, we can't sell it, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So you've got to basically restock your whole workforce at this point.
Well, it doesn't look, yeah.
It already hit the media. It's becoming viral.
Well,
it's going
like
viral.
That's right. We want to.
The lead attorney got a hold of it.
I'm praying
This is
that
about to
works
go
out for you, Gary.
viral.
I hope that opens the door for you, and then you have some peace of mind.
I'm told that it's a very good program.
Okay.
will you keep me posted on that and where you're at with that? Maybe we can do a follow-up with
Well,
you and come back.
I think that'd be nice.
I would love to do that with
Yep.
you and talk
Yep.
more with you. Obviously, we're going to be talking about how you did your due diligence, and you really did think that these people were working for you.
Oh, there's no
legally.
doubt about it.
So we are going to share that, and we'll be behind you on this one, sir.
Okay.
And then please, as things move forward, you have my card, you have my information.
You
Please
bet.
reach out, and we'll be praying for you and your company. And I mean, you guys are the American dream, right? But
Well, we like to
unfortunately,
think so.
you guys need to have people that are, as you know, working here, and you want them working here legally. It's not like you wanted to hide anything.
No.
And you do care about them. They are people.
They're part of our family.
There you go, Audra. You are so
You know what
right.
family means.
Profit over people.
Did you ever
That's
turn?
what
Did you
makes-
turn a
that's what
blind eye?
makes
Did you
They're
us
turn
going to
a
open
blind
those doors to give
Or know
American
about
people
any
back
of
their
it? As
jobs.
their
That's
family,
right.
You didn't want to address it.
You see how they try to get over with the system? Or keeping all these American workers out of work because they're not going to work for these slave wages to make a living, and got all these, the people got to pay their mortgage. People got to pay their kids to send their kids to school. They want to send these kids. People want to make a livable salary. People don't want to work under these slave wages and under these cruel kind of work conditions and everything else like that. This is what Trump was saying about bringing back the jobs to the American people. America first. We ain't doing this no more, selling our culture here to no foreign countries, keeping foreign. We got to build back up our economy. And this ain't been helping our economy. This has been hurting our economy. And these people don't even live in the United States of America. They over in another country somewhere profiting off of these people that they send over here to try to replace us and give our jobs, outsource our jobs to these foreigners, to these foreign countries and everything. They smuggling people over here illegally, trafficking people over here illegally to work in our food plants. This is what they've been doing, and this is how this been hurting the economy. And guess what? That's where you see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, because this is what they've been doing. And Trump was gonna come and blow it up. And that's why they hate him. That's why they hate Trump. That's why they don't want him in office. That's why they want to destroy him. Because Trump is a businessman and he knows this stuff. He knows it. And that's what they mad at him. Trump don't even sleep. Okay? He don't sleep on them. Okay? Y'all can hate him. Y'all can love him. But that is our president of the United States to save America. To save America. Because America, they was draining us. They were trying to take advantage of us. They were stealing from us, robbing us of our profits and everything. Yes, they was outsourcing our jobs to these foreigners illegally. Okay? That's what they were doing, to try to cut the profit. But they was profiting off of it. But the people are starving. Can't even buy milk in this country. And when do milk cost $5 and some change? I used to get a gallon of milk for $1 and something and some change. Maybe no more than $2 and something. Now milk don't went up, eggs 17. Come on. This is what they've been doing in the economy. Okay. Anyway, let's finish the video and I'm getting out of here.
Ma'am, we did everything we could by doing what we were told to do. Verify.
And they all checked out. So,
You better believe it.
all right, Gary.
Everyone.
Okay, well, I expect to hear from you soon then,
Okay.
when we're getting new employees for you and when Homeland is working with
Yeah,
you.
we're gonna-
and we can learn how that program works.
We're going to check into that first thing in the morning.
All right.
You bet, Valley.
I appreciate
Well, thank
it,
you
Gary.
so very much.
Hey, so we just got off of our flight from Nebraska, where we were embedded with ICE, where they conducted the largest workplace enforcement operation in Nebraska under President Trump. More than 70 individuals were arrested who ICE says are here illegally. They were actually using identities from U.S. citizens. So now we're at the airport. We're about to hop on a plane. We're heading to Los Angeles because the issues, the unrest persists there. There are conversations about more protests planned for tonight and into the weekend. There are conversations about more troops being sent, more resources being sent. So we're going to go boots on the ground, figure out exactly what's happening, see firsthand what law enforcement are dealing with, what the protesters are dealing with, and bring that to you as well.
There you go. There you go, y'all. Okay, so I got to get out of here, y'all. God bless you. Oh, God, we ain't watching that right now. God bless you. I'll be back later on this evening for anything else pops up. Thank you all for coming in. Please hit the like button on your way in and on your way out. And thank you, Audra, so much for your chat, conversation here. Audra, I appreciate all you had to share with me here in the chat. I can't read it that well right now, but I hope you come back and we can continue this conversation. Take care, be safe out there. And it's a very hot day, so drink lots of water and get hydrated.